that we are all actually divine beings. And if we are divine beings, how do we stay there? And how do we not drop back into the kind of more pain body that tells us, that has, that when we have horrible thoughts about people, or we don't really wish people well, or we don't feel great about things, or we have judgmental thoughts about ourselves or about other people. So what do we do about that? And how do we drop back into that divinity that's inside us? Because actually, if we saw the world through the eyes of divinity, through the eyes that we are divine, then, and the divine is love, so actually we're just seeing the world through the eyes of love. How do we stay there? And how do we not get triggered? And when we get triggered, how can we bring it back really fast to love? So that's what I've been really thinking about. And I've been noticing, so I think the first thing is awareness, and just noticing when you've dropped out of that level of divinity. And then there's the place that says, well, I've dropped out of it, now what am I going to do? So how do we reconnect ourselves? How do we how do we just hold ourselves in that space? And there's something about that connection between the earth and the sky that can hold us really leveled. And then there's another piece that says I can just put my hand on my heart because the divinity lies inside me. And if the divinity lies inside me, then I can just hold onto my heart and remind myself, it's okay. And actually what's really helpful is to forgive yourself for all the judgmental thoughts, or I forgive myself for judging, I forgive myself for, judging this, that, or the other, because actually all of the difficult thoughts are not really true. They're just reactions and responses to our pain. They don't come from love. No judgment comes from love, because there is no judgment in love, right? There just isn't. So how do we just remind ourselves? So for me, I put my hand on my heart. Okay, it's okay. And then I go through a forgiveness process of forgiving myself for all the difficult thoughts that I've had. And then I just invite the light, just to remind myself of the divine light that resides in all of us. I think we're all made of light anyway, actually. We're all made of energy. So it's light and love. And just coming back, just come back. Just keep coming back. And put your feet on the ground, nourish the earth, say thank you, forgive yourself. Okay. And then something shifts. There is a place where something can shift. And in that shift, that's where we can come back to love. And actually really connecting to the divine inside us is just about love. And it's about self-love. And it's about love, how we see ourselves as vessels of love, how we see everybody as a vessel of love, because it's not only me that's got the divinity inside me, everybody's got the divinity inside them. So actually how we view each other and how we see each other with a much more loving and non-judgmental, non-reactive, without expectations that anybody should or shouldn't do things, or should or shouldn't be certain ways. And just love everybody for who they are and accept them for who they are, because at the end of the day, everybody's doing their best anyway. And I think that's also a good reminder that everybody's just doing the best they can, even if it doesn't feel like that at the time. And most people are responding from their pain anyway. So, and as we know, hurt people. So we know that there's that constant reactivity of that pulls us away from our divinity. And so there's the self, which is love, and then there is love. So we're not really, it's interesting, that kind of dynamic of self-love and love, because actually when we're in the divine, when we're in our divinity, it's love anyway. So it's love to ourselves, it's love to every cell of our being, it's love to the world, it's love to the universe, it's love to everybody. And it's just meeting the love in everyone else as well, because actually everybody's got it. So I wonder what you do to try and, or whether you even do, attempt to meet that love in someone else. How do we find that connection, heart to heart, soul to soul, so that actually it's very clean and we don't have to spend time with those people. We don't have to, those always are choices, but we can still love them. So how do you do that? I'm really curious. I'm really curious how other people actually manage to hold on to the divinity inside themselves. Because it's so beautiful when you do, and it's so uncomfortable when we don't.